So you beautiful people, welcome to episode 2 of my Blueprints breakdown series. In today's episode we are going to cover the Union Black, which is a version of the Kilo. Now the Kilo is based on the H&K 433 and this is what it would look like in real life. So it's near enough an exact resemblance, but I don't know whether it's down to licensing, royalties or whatever it is. They've chose to do this as a more of a clone gun and name it the Kilo 141. Now this is actually one of my favorite weapons in the game. I'm also British, so my incentive to go for this would be the Union Jack flag on there, but it is very subtle changes. Now again, I have said this previously, these are only really cosmetic changes that you're going to get from these weapons. There's no stat changing, but that's a rabbit hole that I don't really want us to go down anyway. Stat changing games, weapons have been bad for Call of Duty in my personal opinion, so I'm glad to see they are only cosmetic changes. However, I wish these changes were more significant. Now in terms of the looks of this weapon, there's not really much for you to grind for if you're really going to grind for it. If you're British, then you're really going to want that little Union Jack flag, and then a bit of tape around the magazine are the biggest differences I can see. Also with the actual hand grip, the stipple grip, the granulated tape, all of them look slightly different to what you'd be able to put down in the default manner of the weapon. It is an epic weapon, however when you look at the missions it will show as a rare. These are little quality of life changes that need to be done by Infinity Ward at their earliest convenience, because it's clear people haven't proofed it, well in essence proofread the game. I mean basically you go to the missions and you'll see straight away that it is nowhere near the same in terms of, I mean look at that. It's just so obvious straight away. So what do you have to do to grind for this actual weapon, and is it actually worth it? That's what we're going to find out today. So we've got to do the infill and complete 3 public matches, which is just self-evident. You play and you will complete this one very easy. Then you have to play domination and capture 30 flags. Now this was more time consuming than anything. You run in, capture your first flag, and technically you can leave the game, go into another one and then capture your first flag and repeat that. If they've changed anything since I've done that, then that would have been in an update, but that is probably the easiest way for you to do this mission, is to literally capture your home flag and then eject yourself from the game and go into the next game. Mind you, I quite enjoyed just playing domination and going through the motions, but if you want to do it really quickly, that would be probably the fastest way for you to do this. This one, this is the bane of your life when you're doing this, because as you know, it's really hard to approach people in this game because of the footsteps. So you're going to want to equip dead silence as your field order, and the easiest way for you to do this is going to be in ground war. And as you can see on the screen, I'm demonstrating to you guys how quickly I was able to do this. Now I was suffering in multiplayer TDM for quite a while, and it was suggested by one of my basically my brother-in-law, my fiance's brother suggested that we go into ground war because that's where he done it and that was where the easiest way to do it. And people are so caught up with the all of everything, it's quite overwhelming. Ground war is, so going into ground war, people are so overwhelmed with so many people being on the map, you'll find it a lot easier for you to obtain these 10 finishing moves. Don't forget, you need to approach someone from behind and then hold R3 or the corresponding button on whatever platform you are using to perform the execution, because I know a lot of people still don't know this. So objective 4 gets 50 kills with Ghost as a perk enabled. Now most people play this game with Ghost, so this one's just pretty easy, self-explanatory. If you want to sit in a corner, by all means, and just pick people off as they come through. It's not something I'm going to condone, but if that's what gets you through this challenge easy, then that's what you're going to do, aren't you? So on to objective 5, which is capture 15 flags in ground war. Now again, footage on the screen, I actually managed to really go for this. You can use the obviously the tanks, the helicopters, or the SUVs or the ATPs, and just whiz your way around the map. I tended to use vehicles and go for things that were being captured and try to get there as quickly as possible. But you'll also see in the footage that I just literally ran around and naturally aimed for targets that were closer to me that I knew most of my team were around, so it was more likely that I wasn't having to battle people. Then you're going to need to get 60 kills with a suppressed weapon. Now, I use a suppressed weapon anyway, so this was just literally a byproduct of playing and killing people. You can do it in ground war, where you're more likely to come across people that you're going to kill, or you can do it in the modes that you like to play. I am a TDM fan, so that's what I chose to do this in, and you get that pretty cool calling card as well. And then finally, you need to get 20 headquarters captures in headquarters, obviously. This one, I found it not too bad actually. You will need a decent team if you're really going to do this with any relative ease. You can learn where the headquarters rotation is going to spawn. If you're someone that plays headquarters, this one's going to be really easy for you. And it also counts when you are basically capturing a headquarter that needs to be destroyed, it seems to me. Don't quote me on that exactly, because that it seemed to count it, but I could be wrong there. But that is what you're going to need to do to obtain the Union Black in terms of challenges. So let's see the benefits of the standardized blueprints attachments. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through this, but I'm also going to change some of this so you actually get a class setup that I personally use. So the Kilo is my favorite weapon, as I've stated. I'm going to give you my class setup, which will still utilize the Union Jack and the tape around the bottom, and it will still utilize the Singard Arms Whisper integrated silence suppressor, sorry. So this will offer you sound suppression, bullet velocity. It will keep you off the minimap also, but you get a slight penalty in aim down sight speed. Now, I personally don't feel that it's that noticeable at all, and I definitely think it's worth it just so you don't have to utilize the two attachments in terms of using a muzzle then a longer barrel. So you're going to get that extra distance and range on your bullets, which is something that almost counteracts what a suppressor usually does in most weapons or Call of Duty games. Then moving on to the stock, you're going to have the close quarter stock, which increases your aim down sight speed, but it decreases your aim stability. And then you'll have the granulated tape, which gives you aim stability and aim walking steadiness, but it will give your aim walking movement speed a bit of a penalization there. And then you'll get sleight of hand. Well, if I think I put sleight of hand on myself, which is something I just like to utilize, so we'll take that off for now. Now I'm going to show you my actual class setup for this, which is the Union Black and Gold. Now, you may not have the gold camo, but that just shows you that this is my favorite weapon. Well, I wasn't lying to you when I said it, and I've utilized this weapon heavily, so I can tell you that it is a very nice weapon to use. So we're going to keep the Singard's Arms Whisper on, but we're going to go for the no stock, which gives you increased movement speed and increased aim down sight speed, but you get a slight penalization in aim stability and recoil control. Now, the thing with the Kilo is there's not much recoil at all. In fact, people have been calling this weapon the ACR of Modern Warfare. It is a very nice weapon to use. To increase that aim down sight speed even further, we've put the stippled grip on, which is one of my favorite, and you've got sprint to fire speed. So again, I am someone who can't help rush. Obviously, rushing in this game I've had to adapt my rushing to a different type of rushing, but I still like to run around. So if someone comes around the corner and catches me off guard with the stipple grip, I'm more likely to get down my sights very quickly. And then finally, I put the Merc 4 grip on, which gives that additional recoil control, but also gives you hip fire accuracy. So this is almost like a close quarters combat more CQC, more type of kilo. The penalization, aim walking speed, movement speed, aim down sight speed. But as you've seen with the other attachments, they're going to negate that happening with the Merc grip. And then finally, you want to put on obviously the sleight of hand, and if you're lucky enough to have it, the gold camo, the black and gold camo, which makes this a Union black and gold. But as you can see, I'm British, very happy that I've got the Union Jack on there, and the aesthetics of the tape is really nice. But as I've said already in the video, I really feel like they've been slightly lazy here in terms of this is classed as an epic weapon here, and there's not much that has been offered on it to, in my personal opinion, make it epic. Now if they start making these blueprints look more like the ones that we had in Modern Warfare Remastered, I feel like people would really want to grind them, instead of just, you can literally build this weapon but just have no Union Jack on the side. And if you're American or any other nation, then you're not going to want a British flag on, so you're not really going to grind this weapon unless you're a big fan of the SAS. So this is my class that I rock with this particular weapon. Now you don't necessarily need to have the model 680 Skeet. This can be built without the blueprint itself. So what I use is the monolithic suppressor, which gives you sound suppression, extra damage range at the cost of aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. But you need to remember, most of the time you'll be using this particular weapon off the hip unless you're pre-firing something like a door. In terms of barrel, I use the XRK 18-inch Liberator, which gives you even more damage range and a tighter pellet spread for even more damage when you do hit the target. The cons for this is aim down sight speed, which again you're not really going to need in my personal opinion. I have no stock on this particular weapon. Gives you more movement speed, aim down sight speed. So if you do want to aim down sight, you're going to get a slight bit of compensation here. Aim stability and recoil control are what you're going to be penalized. But most of the time that I use this weapon, I do not aim down sights. In terms of your perk, you can put anything you like on here, but I use sleight of hand because once you've depleted all of your ammo, you're going to want to, you know, fill that right back up with all those cartridges. And then finally I use the Merc foregrip just in case I do want to aim down sight, and it also increases your aim down sight, but you'll have a slower movement speed. In terms of perks, obviously you're going to need overkill so you can run the two primaries. I use hardline with this particular class, as I find if I end up in a room with the shotgun, I can clear out people very quickly. But I've also got a close quarters combat type of weapon in terms of the Union Jack, so I can compete with SMGs with this. So hardline, I tend to kill very quickly as I try to move very quickly and obtain my streaks very quickly also. And then you're going to run a rock amped. Now this will give you the ability to switch from your shotgun or back to your Union Black very quickly. So on that basis you are allowed to just, you know, really counteract people that are in tighter spaces by getting towards a door and just instantly change into that, you know, close range powerhouse that is the shotgun. And then finally I use a Semtex depending on what mode I'm using, like headquarters, and then a stun grenade is my my baby basically, to try and help me when I'm coming up against these claymores, because I'm not using EOD in this particular class. In terms of recoil, there isn't really much to talk about. It's very manageable, it's very steady. It kicks to the left, which is going against the tradition because most weapons seem to kick to the right in this game, but you will have no problems controlling it with these particular attachments. The iron sight is very clean, very pronounced. You can see through it and acquire your targets really easily, and you don't want that extra penalization for having a sight. In terms of close quarters combat, you move very quickly. It's very SMG like, and that's what I've gone for. It's almost like a hybrid here. You've got the long range of an AR, but you've got the versatility and movement of an SMG. So that is why I've suggested this particular class. And if things aren't going your way in very close range combat, you can either hip fire with it, or you can use the shotgun just to finish up those people that are really getting on your nerves. But it's something about this whole class setup that I really like. As you can see in this particular gameplay, I go on a Merciless and manage to get my Pavlo, my Vito and my cruise missile, and there's a very nice piece of shotgun gameplay just towards the end of the video. So guys, is the Union Black really worth your time? Well, that's debatable, as it is with most of these blueprints. I don't personally feel that I can recommend it to you guys unless you are SAS fans or you really want the Union Jack on. I mean, after all, it's literally just a sticker and a piece of tape that you do get. However, it is a very nice weapon to use. So if you like the Kilo and you like the SAS or you want the Union Jack flag, then it's definitely recommended. But I would go in the guise that I've used with my class setup, as I just feel that's far superior than the blueprint. In terms of the blueprint in season 1 or the next season, I feel like they need to be much more, you know, these need to mean a lot more. This is supposed to be an epic, and it just doesn't look like what I would refer to as an epic weapon. Something more along the lines of what we got in Modern Warfare with the weapons kits, and that would be worth really going for. Something that nobody else has really got unless they've grinded for it. And it's something to really show off. You know, you want a weapon that people are willing to kill you for and pick up off the floor just to use it and have a look at it. So guys, that is my breakdown for the Union Black. And let me know whether you believe this one's worth it. The Steel Curtain and this, I think the Steel Curtain is the one that I'd highly recommend. In terms of the Union Black, it's probably not going to be worth the majority of you guys' time. Guys, there are many buttons you could hit, but a like and subscribe button, I hope they took your fancy. And as always, guys, don't forget to stay on the right track. Peace.